image like no other, inspiring decades of research and debate. The Shroud of Turin, that's a piece of history, and it has an ongoing puzzle for science.
The Shroud of Turin is a burial cloth that's imprinted with what many believe is the actual image of Jesus after his crucifixion. Now, it's been debated for years, but the shroud is back in the headlines in a major way.
More than 2,000 years ago, one of history's most well-known figures, Jesus Christ, was born. He carried out his ministry in Judea, proclaiming himself as the Son of God. This declaration led to his crucifixion, and according to Christian belief, he rose from the dead after spending 2 nights in a tomb. The resurrection of Jesus Christ stands as the foundation of the Christian faith. Among the most debated sacred relics is the Shroud of Turin, believed by many to be one of the strongest pieces of evidence supporting Christ's resurrection. Dismissed by much of the scientific community as a medieval forgery, largely due to previous carbon dating results.
The 1988 test, carbon dating, that they say, well, this isn't 2,000 years old, so therefore it's done.
The shroud has been extensively examined. Despite ongoing skepticism, it often appears as though divine intervention continues to guide its journey, revealing new clues that suggest it indeed bears the imprint of one of Christianity's most sacred events, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In a groundbreaking discovery, researchers have identified an inscribed name on the shroud, offering what many consider definitive proof of its authenticity. Before diving into this remarkable find, let's first explore the rich historical background of the relic. The Gospel of John mentions burial cloths left in Jesus' tomb, and these garments played a crucial role in John's belief in Christ's resurrection. Many believe that the Shroud of Turin may have been the very cloth used to wrap Jesus' body after his resurrection. However, due to ongoing debates over its authenticity, tracing its exact history remains a challenge. The first recorded historical reference to the shroud dates back to 1389, describing a public exhibition held in 1355 in Liry, France, by a French knight named Geoffrey de Charny. However, even within the church, its legitimacy was questioned. Bishop Pierre d'Arcis of Troyes wrote to the Pope, dismissing it as an elaborate painting and an intentional hoax. Eventually, in 1453, the shroud came into the possession of Italy's royal family, the House of Savoy, where it remained until 1986. Upon the passing of King Umberto II of Savoy, the relic was officially entrusted to Pope John Paul II and his successors. Starting in 1464, the shroud was housed in a dedicated chapel in Chambéry, nestled in the French Alps. A pivotal event took place there on December 4, 1532, when a fire damaged the relic, leading some to speculate that this incident may have had significant implications for its history and authenticity. The controversial results of the 1988 radiocarbon dating of the shroud's material may have been influenced by external factors. In 1578, this sacred relic found a permanent home in the royal chapel of the Cathedral of San Giovanni Battista in Turin, Italy. From that point on, it became widely known as the Shroud of Turin. What makes the shroud so remarkable is its detailed, 3-dimensional depiction of a full human figure. This burial cloth bears an incredibly lifelike full-body image of a crucified man, unlike any other artifact in existence. Many believe this image to be that of Jesus Christ himself. In a world where technology has made astonishing advancements, it remains a profound mystery that no one has been able to replicate the shroud's unique image or its extraordinary characteristics. For over 115 years, the Shroud of Turin has been the subject of intense debate and scientific scrutiny. Yet the weight of substantial findings continues to point to its connection with Jesus Christ. You may recall the 1988 carbon dating tests that were initially used to challenge its authenticity. However, these tests have since been discredited as their results conflict with other scientific methods, archaeological evidence, and physical analysis. Let's take a closer look at the groundbreaking discoveries made by Dr. Gilbert R. Lavoie, a dedicated researcher who has spent 2 decades combining medical expertise with scriptural study to examine the shroud. His recent findings provide compelling evidence that the shroud captures the exact moment of Jesus' resurrection. Dr. Lavoie's research suggests that the image on the shroud does not depict a body lying flat in burial, but rather an individual in an upright position. A close examination of the frontal image reveals that the hair falls naturally on both sides of the face, obeying the force of gravity. The same principle applies when analyzing the back image, where the hair flows over the shoulders and down the back, aligning perfectly with an upright stance. This insight is crucial, as gravity plays a significant role in determining how the body and hair appear when transitioning from standing to lying down. To validate this theory, a series of experiments were conducted using an unclothed individual lying on a glass surface. Artistic renderings of these tests clearly demonstrate how the subject's hair naturally falls backward and flattens against the surface. Additionally, noticeable compression occurs in the contours of the back, buttocks, and lower legs, an effect that is absent from the shroud's image. This discovery raises even more questions about the true nature of the shroud and its extraordinary imprint. As scientific inquiry continues, the Shroud of Turin remains one of history's greatest and most debated relics. For years, it was widely assumed that the figure on the shroud was positioned in a traditional supine burial posture. However, the actual image on the shroud contradicts this expectation. Instead, it presents an anatomical form that more closely resembles someone in an upright position. The way the hair flows and how the body is positioned strongly suggests that the figure was not lying down but standing. Interestingly, the figure does not appear to be standing on a surface or resting against anything. He seems to be floating. This raises an intriguing question. Why does he appear to be suspended in midair? The answer may lie within the pages of the Bible. This extraordinary visual representation serves as a powerful testament to the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Further scientific discoveries have provided compelling evidence linking the shroud to Jesus. One remarkable example is the research conducted by Dr. Joseph Kolbach, who identified traces of limestone-containing dirt on the fabric. This particular type of limestone, known as Jerusalem limestone, is primarily found in and around Jerusalem, including ancient tombs. What makes this discovery even more significant is that the limestone on the shroud closely matches samples taken near the Damascus Gate, which is not far from Golgotha, the site of Jesus' crucifixion. This suggests that the man in the shroud likely walked through Jerusalem before his crucifixion. Moreover, the image on the shroud captures vivid details of injuries and suffering, aligning with the biblical accounts of Jesus' path to the cross. Abrasions on both shoulders indicate the strain of carrying a heavy, rough object, likely a wooden cross. Additional marks on one knee suggest a fall, leaving behind traces of dirt. Other areas on the fabric reveal a mix of soil and blood, implying that he hit his head on the ground when he fell. The presence of thorn-like wounds on the head strongly suggests the painful pressing of a crown of thorns. One particularly fascinating detail is the wound on the wrist, which measures approximately 1 square centimeter. In Rome, the Church of the Holy Cross of Jerusalem holds relics discovered by Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. Among these relics is a nail believed to have been used in crucifixions, and astonishingly, it measures exactly 1 square centimeter, matching the size of the wound depicted on the shroud. Additionally, the Shroud of Turin displays a distinctive elliptical wound on the side, measuring roughly 2 inches across, a size consistent with the spear used by Roman soldiers. The image also reveals an extraordinary separation between red blood and clear blood serum, a phenomenon that further deepens the mystery surrounding this sacred relic. This separation of red blood and clear serum is a phenomenon commonly observed when a person has died and suffered a wound. It results in the distinct flow of both blood and water from the side wound, an event specifically mentioned in the Gospel of John. These unique characteristics align with only one historical account, pointing to a single extraordinary individual. Perhaps the most moving aspect of the shroud is the bloodstains believed to be his. Many consider these stains to be powerful reminders of Jesus' immense sacrifice for humanity. Together, these details strengthen the compelling evidence of the shroud's authenticity and the immense suffering endured by the man it portrays. Further supporting its origins, researchers discovered traces of 49 different types of pollen on the shroud. Of these, 33 are from plants native only to Palestine, while 3 are unique to Jerusalem. This botanical evidence suggests that the shroud originated during a time between March and April. Some experts even speculate that one of these plants may have been used to weave the crown of thorns. Adding to the intrigue, physicists John Jackson and Eric Jumper proposed an interesting theory regarding faint markings over the figure's eyes. They suggested that these marks might be ancient coins, possibly placed over the eyes during a traditional Jewish burial in the 1st century. Even more astonishing, the dimensions and engravings of these coins closely resemble those used during the reign of Pontius Pilate, dating from 2 BC to 33 AD. The fabric of the shroud itself further strengthens its historical link. Measuring precisely 2 by 8 cubits, an ancient unit of measurement, the cloth also features a 3-inch wide side strip, sewn with a unique stitch that was only used in Palestine during the 1st century. This detail provides yet another strong connection to that time period. For centuries, medieval artwork inaccurately depicted crucifixions with nails driven through the palms. However, archaeological discoveries suggest that victims were actually nailed through the wrists, ensuring greater stability and allowing for the painful movements necessary to breathe. The nail wounds visible on the shroud perfectly align with these findings, reinforcing its authenticity. As if all of this weren't astonishing enough, a groundbreaking discovery from researchers in Palermo, Italy, has revealed something truly extraordinary. The image on the shroud is not static. Instead, it shows subtle signs of movement, similar to stroboscopic photography, in which a figure appears to shift due to intense bursts of energy. This revelation adds another layer of mystery and fascination to the story of the Shroud of Turin. Their research indicates that the figure on the shroud appears in slightly different positions, showing movement in the hands, feet, and chest, suggesting the natural motions of breathing. This finding provides even more compelling evidence that the Shroud of Turin may actually capture the moment of Jesus' resurrection. A groundbreaking revelation about the Shroud of Turin has emerged from the Paris-based International Center of Studies on the Shroud of Turin. Hidden within the fabric, researchers have uncovered astonishing details, inscriptions that defy conventional explanation. Beneath and to the sides of the chin, 3 distinct and evenly spaced lines where no image appears have been identified. Scientists meticulously divided official photographs of the shroud into tiny squares, assigned each a brightness level, and used advanced software to analyze them visually. As a result, a set of letters gradually emerged, written in both Latin and Greek. Among these inscriptions, one side clearly bears the word Nazarene, referencing Jesus. Experts suggest that this text may have originally been written on a separate document by a scribe and then placed over Jesus' face, a common burial practice to help relatives identify the deceased. The ink used at the time could have naturally transferred onto the linen, leaving behind these faint yet significant markings. Notably, this inscription did not interfere with the process that formed the shroud's mysterious image. According to researchers, this discovery eliminates any possibility that the text was added during medieval times. They argue that even in that era, no Christian, let alone a forger, would have referenced Jesus without acknowledging his divine nature, as doing so could have led to accusations of heresy. Enhanced images of the inscriptions have also been examined by other experts, who confirm that the script matches writing styles commonly used in the Middle East during the 1st century, the exact time of Jesus. This evidence strongly suggests that the person depicted on the shroud is indeed Jesus Christ, who gave his life for the salvation of humanity. This discovery leads to a profound question: how essential is the story of Jesus' resurrection to Christian faith? In truth, without the resurrection, the foundation of Christianity, God's redemptive grace through Jesus, would not stand. By rising from the dead, Jesus confirmed his identity as the Son of God and fulfilled his mission of atonement, redemption, and salvation. His resurrection was not symbolic, it was a real physical event in which his body was restored to life. As described in all 4 gospel accounts early on a Sunday morning, a group of devoted women set out for Jesus' tomb, intending to complete the burial rites. However, to their utter astonishment, when the women arrived at the tomb, they were shocked to find that the massive stone sealing its entrance had been rolled away, and the tomb was empty. According to the Synoptic Gospels, a shining figure appeared before them, delivering the incredible news that Jesus had risen from the dead. In John's unique account, Mary Magdalene encountered a man she initially mistook for a gardener. However, the moment he called her by name, she realized it was Jesus himself. Despite variations in the details, all four Gospels agree on one fundamental truth. In the days following his resurrection, many of Jesus' disciples saw him and experienced his presence firsthand. The resurrection is the cornerstone of the Gospel narrative, representing the ultimate fulfillment of redemption. It fills us with deep gratitude for the Messiah, the Son of the living God, who willingly sacrificed himself to save humanity. Now, he reigns at the right hand of God, and one day he will return in glory to restore and renew this broken world.